Chat Cave with Mike and Max.
All right. Well, we're back again. It's weird because normally the intervals between chat caves are much longer. So I'm very happy to say, welcome one and all to the Chat Cave. I am your co-host Max from the Three Geeks Network. You can find us at 3geeks.ninja on the internets there. But chat caving it up with the one, the only Mike McG on Mike McG TV. This is where we're at. We exist here at Mike McG.
Yeah, I figured this is the perfect time to be trying something new. So this may be audio, this may be video. I don't know. It's working fine so far. In fact, if this is going to be video, Max, why don't you show off that lovely shirt?
Oh, here we go. Yeah, it's you can get these at TeePublic. This is the first shirt that I've ever bought from TeePublic. So yeah, I had to buy it. I buy my own merch, so that's the life I live.
See, Max is a true chat caver. He actually bought the shirt. I designed the shirt, and I haven't even gotten my own version of it yet. So
well, I mean, like, you shouldn't have to pay for it. You know,
that's
like,
true.
It's just like I should buy you a shirt just to give it to you, but
nah, you're good.
You shouldn't have to pay for it. That's kind of like just a Greek tragedy.
Well, technically, you gave me money, so you already paid me.
That's true. That is true.
So there we have it. If you're interested in any TeePublic apparel from either Three Geeks or Mike McG TV, we got our own stores out there. You just search up our names, teepublic.com/Mike McG TV or teepublic.com/ is it just Three Geeks Podcast or Three Geeks Network, or what is that?
I think it's just Three Geeks.
Just Three Geeks. Okay. Just keep on searching for them and you'll find them. They're very similar designs and so forth.
Yeah, Mike has designed 100% of the shirts on both of those.
So you'll notice a style or theme running through all of them. So we are here in the Chat Cave and here to talk about, well, first up, I was just curious, Max. I forgot to ask you last time we did this, since we're still in the sweeps of a pandemic, blah, 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 so to speak. What have you been doing bat-wise?
Bat-wise, I've been straying away from Gotham City. I've been watching a lot of anime, actually. But no, I haven't done too much until you brought a fun little movie that had come out to my attention. I didn't even realize this movie. I had stopped paying attention to DC animation. You know, it's just like there's not a lot to be excited about anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're like, hey, you want to do a chat cave? And I'm like, yeah, I'm excited to do anything because I have so much time on my hands.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing too, is like I had kind of stepped away from DC stuff for a bit, just because obviously kind of adjusting to the way we are now, sort of. And then I was like, oh yeah, this is coming out. I'll give this a try. But then I also got me back into reading like good DC stories after watching this movie. And so I read some Batman Contagion, which is appropriate given, you know, the topic.
Yeah, that's really on the nose there.
So that was a feel-good read, certainly, maybe yet. So, but
I
yeah,
mean, like, you notice on Netflix the movie Contagion is like America's #1. I'm like, why?
Yep.
Why is that?
There's a couple of videos out there like, whoa, you okay?
Yep. Just knocked my phone over. I'm trying to not have to hold my phone, and I knocked it over.
No, I dig. You're witnessing history here, folks. A glorious mess of a live podcast, but whatever. It's all good.
All right, we got there. We
got it. But no, there's been a couple of videos, I guess, talking about like why people are so fascinated by that movie now during like real life pandemic. And I guess there's a lot of stuff that plays into it, like the psychology of we want to believe like maybe something can overcome, or we, you know, that placing us in that scenario could be worse type of thing.
Well, then another interesting thing is one of the Doctor shows, their season finale was a pandemic, like an outbreak episode, and they decided not to run it because of everything. So like, it's interesting,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Well,
anywho, that's not what we're here to talk about.
yeah, that's not what we're here to talk about. We're trying to lift our spirits a little bit, and what better way to do that than with an animated movie that just brutally slaughters your favorite characters.
Yeah,
This is Justice League Dark Apokolips War, which is the final installment in this long-running like DC animated universe movie line that they've been doing since like 2013. They started with Flashpoint Paradox and then built into like telling the New 52 through animation, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks though because like the Flashpoint Paradox is so good, and then like everything that has come after that has been like mediocre at best. I think there's been like some good stuff, but like, I mean, actually, the first Justice League Dark movie I liked it a lot.
We talked about that on an episode. Yeah, was a review of that, and I think we both had favorable reviews, but it was very average. I felt, but yeah.
So there's not a lot of good stuff, and at least it's over. At least it's over now. Like that's, I hate Damian Wayne Robin. So like half of the movies are about him. This is like not a good time for me in DC animation.
Oh boy, I knew as soon as I finished watching it and I messaged you being like, we got to talk about this. I was going to be like, point one, your favorite boy, he takes up like a good 80% of the movie. So there's that.
You just can't get enough Damian Wayne Robin. Okay.
So to give a little background, like, I feel like these movies, the reason they only kind of continued that particular continuity that's been out of date for a couple of years now, like New 52 has been done for years at this point, but the reason they kind of continued it was just to kind of keep pace with Marvel, just in direct to video form. Like their extended universe on the big screen is obviously not doing wonders. Like they're starting to hit a little bit of a balance with these more offbeat superhero movies that aren't kind of clinging to a shared continuity or shared universe. But like in terms of these direct to videos, they're very stringent about that. They're holding to like, we're telling one narrative type of thing, but not really. So
I mean, it's better than the Gotham. At least they're not ruining something I really enjoyed. And I shouldn't say that. Like, I mean, I like Gotham by Gaslight, the comic book. The movie didn't change that for me, but what was the other one that did? Killing Joke.
Yeah, Killing Joke.
Yeah, so I'd rather them try this like newer content than go back and ruin, like just do something poorly that I enjoyed and then I know that they could do better. So there's at least there's that going for this one, or for any of the original ones for that matter.
Right. I don't know. It's always been kind of interesting to me because I did catch up with these movies at least before going into this one. Like I never saw the Wonder Woman one they released, so I'm like I might as well watch that one before I get it.
I did miss that one too. Sorry.
I mean, it's fine. I'd put it up there with Justice League Dark. But again, like I have a Letterboxd account, and the highest I've ever given any of these movies is like a 3 out of 5. Justice League Dark and the Wonder Woman one, just because those are the ones that seemed a little bit more, I don't know, more engaging than the rest of them, because 50% of them are Batman things. And even though it's a Batman podcast, like you mentioned, Damian Wayne's like featured in all of them, and he's insufferable throughout all of them. So that's a big old minus. But this one, I was curious just because it's like, wow, they seem to be doing an Endgame thing here. And it was more like, oh, we saw Endgame, and we're going to go with edgy Endgame, except we're going to show you just how edgy we can be if we had done our own Endgame.
Okay, now I do like the edginess of this movie. I'm a fan of F-bombs. I actually, oh man, I should have worn. I just bought this new T-shirt. It's got like 1960s Batman holding the bomb above his head, but the bomb just got a giant F on it. So it's like, there's no good place to throw an F-bomb.
I like that. That's pretty cool.
But yeah, I was like, I think it worked. It helped give the movie just that little whatever that I needed to get me through. Like, it was like, all right, I dig it.
Well, here, I'm curious, is like, did you enjoy it more so like, that's ridiculous? Or did you do it more so like, wow, this really informs my investment in these characters and this plight?
Yeah, no, I was definitely my investment was definitely informed by the F-bomb. No, I was just like, yay, there's cussing.
Yeah, it's just
it's not for children.
For starters, these DTVs have always been on a PG-13 level until a couple of them, like Justice League Dark, or I think there was one more maybe that went into an R rating for whatever reason. I don't know. It's a lot of R stuff that could be easily trimmed out, and you can make it a PG-13 easy.
Yeah, and also the like the parademons like ripping everybody in half. Like, I'm down for that. So I appreciated it. It was good aesthetic.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, there's like nothing in there that's really like, oh, I can't believe they would put this in a Justice League movie. But yeah, like I appreciated a little bit of gore and cussing, just that's how I live my life. It helped me identify with the characters because I like to say those words and they like to say those words.
I mean, it's kind of implied they say those words anyway. They've come close to that. But it's just like, I don't know. I as I was watching it, part of me was just like, wow. Two thoughts. I'm like, wow, they really want to stick it to Marvel about the finality of something. And two, God, I don't care.
Oh man. All right. Well, we'll
go.
Get there.
Well, why don't you give me some of your initial thoughts? Basically, short form of the story. Justice League goes to war with Darkseid. Darkseid gets the upper hand on them. They do that jump forward 2 years later. Everyone is either dead or depowered or broken in some way.
They like just tick boxes on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. It was basically like one last mission, one last chance to set things right. I will give them this. So they pull in like, whatever Justice Leaguers are still alive. They bring in, Constantine and Etrigan. I enjoyed Constantine. I always loved Constantine in these movies.
Yeah, Justice League Dark was one of my favorite ones because of Constantine. He's great. I love him as a character. I love him because he's just a lovable asshole. And then who doesn't want that?
But they pull in for one final thing, and heavy losses again. I will admit, I'm like, well, at least they saved the time machine stuff for the last 30 seconds of the movie. At least they
I was just like, Cop Out City. It's such. And then it's like, it's again, okay, you're unoriginal, because what are we going to do? Oh, we're just going to do the same thing. And then it's like, okay, what fixes all the problems? Time travel. Let's do it. I hate time travel. I hate it so much. It's so crappy. It's such crappy storytelling. It's,
It was so limp-wristed too, because it felt really just thrown in there. Like, there wasn't like a recurring theme of like, okay, we're gonna build up to that momentous moment when it's gonna happen again, because it started with time travel. This whole universe started because of time travel, and it ends with time travel from the same superhero, and it's just kind of like, oh yeah, he can do that.
and then, like, I don't know, I was excited for the next Justice League Dark movie after this one.
Oh,
like, just because everyone is so messed up at the end of this movie, and everything is so messed up. I'm like, what are they gonna do? But no, time travel. Everything's kind of okay. Don't even worry about it.
There's no phase 4 for this universe, man. Some things I did like, because I'm gonna crap on this movie pretty hard, honestly. The line of films pretty hard, but some things I did like. I like that we did finally get to see like really what Batman would be like if he just gave up completely. Basically,
Oh.
if he was just
Oh.
completely broken down, and just how ruthless and how terrifying he really would be.
And thorough.
And thorough, yes, absolutely.
He's a good man.
When you have Lex Luthor like crapping his pants in the presence of just his hologram, it's like,
oh
yeah,
dude. And I dug that like Emperor Palpatine hologram to do like talking to Vader or something like that. I love that whole like aesthetic. And like Batman in the Mobius chair, give me a break.
Yep,
Give me a break.
I mean, that's, you know, who better to serve that role. But yeah, it made sense at least there. So on the Bat side of things, aside from the Damian stuff and the Dick Grayson stuff, I was okay with.
Yeah, like
I wasn't cool with Batwoman and Batgirl just getting swarmed and that's it. I was just like,
well, I mean, like just people.
yeah, I know, but it's just like, what a group. I mean, that was the thing. It's like, I don't know. For a while, it seemed like these movies would be embracing a little bit of a lighter tone or a lighter side, and it's like, nah, fuck that.
Yeah, no, like it's cool in the one sense where it's like, no, they are definitely fighting these things that are stronger than them, and it's not a good look. Like, this is the last chance.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, okay, well, I guess just everyone's dead. That's cool. You know, I don't mind, but I didn't think we were going to go there. But then, like, you know, they bring so many people back and then time travel. So it's like, you know, because I was like, oh, at the end of it, I was even a little upset that they brought back. I'm like, okay, so you bring back effing Damian Wayne, like, seriously. And then Constantine got brought back. So, yeah. I was like, all right, whatever, right? Justice League Dark is not Justice League Dark without Constantine, so I get it, fine. And then they're like, time travel, I just want to pull my hair out.
Well, then they're going to get wiped out from existence anyway, so it doesn't.
Yeah, none of this mattered.
I love that was kind of the feeling they left you on. It's not like this feeling of triumph or we're venturing off into the unknown. It's more like, our planet's almost dead. Might as well just wipe the board clean and pretend like none of this ever happened.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it literally did that. Just, like, I didn't get a sense of closure or finality or some kind of relief at the end of the movie. I was just kind of like, whatever.
I feel like it was very fitting for this entire series, though.
Yeah,
like,
a long string of movies that have just been whatever.
Yeah, it's I mean, and then why spend 30 minutes on Damian Wayne, 30 minutes of a 90-minute movie solely on Damian Wayne?
Without let's cut to the core of this right now, because yeah, I had a feeling this was going to be a big talking point with regards to this whole line of movies. Is that, yeah, from like go, Damian Wayne has been a huge focal point for this whole franchise of films, whether he's in a Teen Titans movie or whether he's with Batman, or in the case of this one, whether he is one of the last surviving heroes and that's like an arc he's got to fulfill or something like that. I never got a sense of what his arc was supposed to be because he never really changed that much. He got a little bit easier to deal with from the character's point of view. He's still unlikable. So it's like...
Yeah. And then also, do you feel like the voice acting was or like not the acting, but like the pick of the voice actor was bad? I didn't like Damian Wayne. Or who was worse, would you say? Damian Wayne or Darkseid? Who was the worst voice actor in that role?
I was fine with the Darkseid voice. That's Candyman. That's
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
I hated it. I could not stand. I was like, he's suck
fine.
at Darkseid.
We're so used to like Michael Ironside or someone with a deeper tone or Stephen Bloom, but like he was fine for me. That's the thing, is like I wasn't even focusing on Darkseid. I could care less about Darkseid in this movie.
Oh dude. I mean, yeah, but like I just thought, oh my goodness, y'all just missed the mark. I was not a happy camper at all. And I tried not to care, you know, but then apparently like there's a problem, you know, it's like, this shouldn't bother me, but it does. Like, of all the things wrong with this movie, Darkseid's voice is not even really up there because he only has like 6 speaking lines, you know, like the whole
barely
movie.
Talks. I would have preferred if he didn't talk. How much more
Right.
interesting would it have been if he didn't say anything? I don't need video speeches from him. But
Yeah.
No,
Um,
Damian Wayne, it was just a matter of the kid's in his teens, so he sounds kind of awkward, probably just naturally. So, and he's grown up in that role. Like he started off as a little kid.
oh well, they should have. I'm sorry, like you hire somebody else. Like,
Well, I
sorry,
guess
bro.
that's the thing, is that this was occurring like in real time. You know, it was occurring
Yeah.
much like the MCU occurs. Is that like the amount of time that's going on in our real world is actually taking place in that universe as well, and that years have gone by. So he's kind of just become this teenager. But yeah, the Damian
I was
Raven,
not a fan.
yeah, the Damian Raven stuff. I'm like, okay, this it wasn't really out of nowhere. They established that those two characters do get along, because of the Teen Titans movies. That there is some kind of attraction there. But I was like, you don't have to really like develop it because I really don't care.
Yeah, and then it's like they do the thing where it's like Damien gets punched in the face and Raven goes nuts, right? Mm-hmm. And then I was like, well, that kind of takes away from when he dies and she goes nuts, just because it's like, okay, we've kind of seen this trick. Like, I wish they would have. That's again like this kind of crap storytelling, because that they feel a lot about each other. Like you don't need to see her, have the little outburst to understand this is going to have a big outburst when something really bad happens to him. So there's just a bunch of little stuff like that that's just not very good. King Shark was annoying as hell.
He was a Groot. He was total Groot.
And it's like, F you, but like write better. You don't need a Groot. Okay, Groot is Groot. Do something else. Like
Groot is Groot, but King Shark is a shark, Max.
Oh my god.
That's his one line throughout most of the movie until he decides to say, like, it's been an honor fighting with you to Captain Boomerang.
Oh, yeah. All of a sudden, he's freaking a warrior poet.
But yeah, you don't need a Groot for this. I don't know, because as I was going through the movie, like, yeah, that checklist was going off one at a time, all the time. I was like, okay, one of our heroes has a beard, much like another hero who was downtrodden who had a beard. One of our heroes says one phrase over and over, much like another hero. One phrase over and over. What other similar? The time travel stuff I mentioned before.
Yeah.
One hero has to sacrifice themselves in order for another hero to deal with the stone that they have. It was just it was funny. What's also funny too is like looking at the Wikipedia page before this movie came out, they were saying like we're pulling all the cast members from all the previous movies in this universe together. So you're gonna have Nathan Fillion there as Green Lantern. You're gonna have Sean Astin back as Shazam. You're gonna have Sean Mayer back as Nightwing, and what's her name, Carrie Walgreen back as Starfire, and then you watch the movie and it's like all those characters are either killed off instantly or they communicate through a series of grunts and screams.
Yes.
Done by anybody. And I'm like,
behind you.
Yeah. Or in the case of Nightwing was just Or in the case of Starfire, she just gives meaningful looks with her half cyborg face.
Right. Like, okay, so you need to tell me that Jason Todd can survive a Lazarus pit, but frickin' Dick Grayson can't?
Well, it's because Damien brought him back, and Damien sucks.
Oh, okay.
He sucks at his job.
He didn't warm the Lazarus pit up to the right temperature or something?
Ra's al Ghul knew what he was doing when he brought back Jason. Damien doesn't have clue on how to use those things. So, of course,
oh my goodness,
Dick Grayson's coming back messed up. But, but no, that kind of cracked me up that I was seeing all these names from all these previous cast members, and then you watch the movie, and oh no, Nathan Fillion, I guess, did not come back because he's dead within the first 2 minutes in a flashback.
Oh, really? Yeah, like they don't even. Oh my goodness, he doesn't even get to be like a line of bravado before they kill him off. Like Nathan Fillion.
I will say that they at least gave Jon Stewart the Green Lantern oath before he's turned to dust.
Right? Like, oh my goodness.
Oh my god.
And that's so lame. Like the Green Lantern Corps.
Oh, I was laughing, dude. I was beside myself
Like,
laughing at how ridiculously overpowered Darkseid is. Just
yeah, dude, just sit there and lights up the entire Green Lantern Corps on Oa. You know, like, I mean, I would believe it maybe if the power battery wasn't right effing there. But you're telling me that Jon Stewart only thought of this in his last dying breath as like the world is coming to an end? Like, the freaking power battery is right there.
So I hate to be a nitpicker of this type of movie, but since this is sharing a narrative with, I want to say 14 other movies that came before that share continuity, and this is like the culmination of all of that. Like, there's a lot of stuff here that honestly, a quick edit, you would have found some way around it or found a way to still tell the story without it being so blatant. First off, so you have one of your Justice League members who's made of apocalyptic technology. You don't think maybe having him in on the secret attack plan wouldn't be kind of something to take precautions on?
No, he's good at apocalyptic technology. No. He's been very helpful in our fight against evil.
Mm-hmm.
Why? How could he be a spy?
Yeah,
even unwittingly.
Of course. It's not like a good 90% of them is made up of the stuff that is currently being used by our enemies right now. I'm not saying kill them. I'm just saying maybe sweep them for bugs or, glitches at times to be like, hey, maybe we don't tell him the exact place we're going to be dropping in on. Or I guess they had to because he's the one who boom tubes everybody, but I don't know.
But I mean, like, they could have been like, okay, 13 seconds before everything goes down, then we tell Cyborg, boom tube us here, and that's it.
Yeah, like, so Darkseid's like, oh, crap.
So you get the same effect that you're supposed to have. But, like, that's something that you think, like, the world's greatest detective might think of.
Second off,
maybe we need to be in a room that Cyborg can't hear us. Because that's all they need to do is keep him in the dark. Like, it's not even like they have to sweep him for the bugs. They just be like, okay, the bugs are there, so we're gonna go over here and talk. It's
Stranger Things logic. It's what they did in season 2 with Will Byers. It's like, don't let Will know where we are, but you can talk to this entity through him, but just don't let him give him clues as to where we're located. So, come on, guys. Stranger Things figured this out.
I mean, they had Frodo, so
yeah,
or true. Sam. They had Samwise.
They had Sam. Jesus. The other thing that I was like, okay, so this is following the death and return of Superman, in which it was revealed like Doomsday was in this continuity created by Darkseid, sent to Earth to kill Superman. This creature which laid waste to the League the first time around. You don't think he'll try that again? Or you don't think he'll try to do a better version of that? You don't think maybe lead with the kryptonite weapons next time?
No, because it was surely it was hard to make something that would be able to kill Superman. So that you could do it twice is kind of unthinkable. I mean, it almost killed the entire Justice League and did kill Superman. So,
but it's hard.
Yeah, it must have been hard to do. So obviously you can't do it again. Like, that was your one shot. You took it. Now you can sit back there on Apokolips and think about what you did. It's
oh, Darkseid. This opportunity comes only once in a lifetime.
Once in a human, or no, I guess I know that it did happen. Once in a human lifetime.
Yep.
I mean, like,
technically, yeah. Oh man. So those are my two big things. It's like, first of all, there could be a way to actually do this attack. Like, just, drop them in and then maybe something goes wrong, or maybe have the Trigon side plot take place, right then and there. Cause that was actually maybe unexpected for some bizarre reason.
I dug Trigon. I liked how they did that. I wish they would have, again, there's just like some things where they do it and I'm just like, come on, man. Where Trigon like protects, he's like, trust me, like, you can use my power to, to survive the situation.
Yep.
And then, does it again, but now it's for reals. And it's like,
And that was John Bernthal voice, and he's uncredited, but it was him. So
okay. So no, I mean, like, I did not have a problem with Trigon's voice. Thank you, Punisher. And
you can't protect him, Clark.
But you know, like the whole like one where he's, you know, he turns out to be a semi-decent father. Or I shouldn't say that, but he does one good thing as a father. That's, you know, like that's kind of ruined. I thought like the punch was pulled, you know, just because like, okay, like we saw that he cares about her already. Like you had to tease it, and then that's just like, why do you do that? Like let the thing be its own thing. And you know, because like all up until now he's just been a hateful, evil bastard. So like let you think that about him until he does the redeeming thing.
Because Thanos, Max. Thanos. They showed Thanos cry in the first Infinity War, so they gotta play up Trigon and being like, he's kind of a nice guy.
No, because I mean, like it's great when that moment like surprises, you know, like you have it surprise even him.
I get what you're saying.
And yeah, like they did it all throughout this movie. Anything that was gonna happen, like you knew for sure was gonna happen, because they're like, hey, don't worry, he actually loves her a little bit.
Well, you know, they're trying to appeal to that kid crowd with this R-rated superhero massacre.
Yes.
They're trying to.
Oh man, they do go through
too subtle.
Oh my goodness. No, I mean, all right, so were you a fan of the Suicide Squad in general? I mean, like, I didn't have really a problem. I actually kind of liked the Captain Boomerang Constantine interactions.
Yeah, there was if anything, that's where I got some of the earnest like laughs from, was from them just not taking the situation too seriously, because I'm just like, oh man.
Yeah,
I like Lois being a part of them too. Lois had something to do here, so I'm like,
yeah, and you know, Lois Lane hard ass, like even from like Flashpoint, I dig that, you know, like that narrative of Lois Lane. So like, I thought that was really cool. I thought she did a good job. I liked her, like even her and Clark, where I thought those were genuine. Like I felt pretty good about those.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is like, I don't know. I was, when it came to like the shock value of, say, characters switching sides or getting killed off, I'm like, wasn't really shocking. And like I said, I have minimal investment in what's going on. It was just more so the execution of it, where I'm just like, this isn't, from a narrative standpoint, even as someone who isn't the biggest like touter of these movies, like this isn't a satisfying watch for me. It just feels like they're going through the motions because it's already been done by another company.
Yeah, and like the whole Lex Luthor is the, you know, like deep throat.
Oh, I knew that. Yeah, it's like,
yeah, but like I was like, that would have been so much better if it was Batman and he framed Lex Luthor. Like, you know, like, or because like, you know, if you're gonna go crazy Batman, like, you know, the Batman of, what was it, Zuranar or whatever like that, where his, like, whenever his mind gets taken over, he flips to this other Batman. But I would have really dug something like that. You just like, because again, it was just so. It was so just, yeah, okay, what's gonna happen? Yes, Lex Luthor is gonna do the thing. Yes, this, and it's like, it would have been great if, you know, because like Darkseid talks to him, like Lex Luthor says that you're, you know, not shit and yada yada yada, and I just would have, if Lex Luthor was just going hard on Darkseid, you know, like side, like he was, hey, I'm trying to live, so I'm gonna go with the winning team, and Batman just A, sets him up for some Omega beams, and B, you know, like fools himself, you know, because like you can't trick Batman, you can't do it. I would have really appreciated that, but they didn't do
well, let's talk about that crux of it. This ties in with the Damian stuff a little bit, is that this Batman in this continuity, he's not the sharpest tool in the shed, to borrow from Smash Mouth. He's very lenient on his murderous kid. I mean, they did the Hush storyline, and it wasn't that great. I didn't like their adaptation of the Hush storyline.
Yeah. See, like none of them were that great.
And that's the thing, is like anything that forgave why Batman, you know, was in the dark in the actual like graphic novel, was done away with in the adaptation. So now he just comes off looking stupid.
Right.
And I don't know. Like, yeah, there was a brief moment where he's about to kill Damien, and he has that flashback of the mugger and him in the alley. That worked for a brief second. I'm like, yeah, that's what's at the core of Batman too, is that he never wants anyone to go through what he went through. Absolutely, I get that. But then I don't know. Yeah, I like what you were saying, where it's like he would have found a contingency for brainwashing in a way. He would have found a method ahead of time to kind of have backup plans and so forth.
Right. I mean, because like, you know, he's got a plan for if Superman gets his mind taken over. So like, why not plan? Like, why wouldn't you have a plan for yourself? But you know, that's just again, you know, like that's like, hey, maybe we should talk. Hey, Cyborg, can you go get the TPS reports? We're gonna talk over here real quick, and then you know, then do the secret meeting. But
okay, guys, just pretend we're planning a birthday party for him.
Like something, even one layer of security would have been nice. Would have been nice when you even acknowledged.
Yeah,
but whatever.
But no, ultimately, the power of love will save Batman in the end. Which, I mean, I get it. It's messed up that your son got roasted alive and he's dying in your arms. Yeah, absolutely. That would probably snap me out of it too. But like, I don't know. I felt like there should have been a little bit more there than just this son that I've mildly tolerated for 10 movies. I love him.
I mean,
profusely now.
If you could tolerate Damian Wayne for even 3 movies, I think that's a sign of love deeper than anyone would ever know. Because, good God, that kid sucks.
There's a point where Superman says to Damian, like, he does the whole, you know, Star Wars thing. There's still good in him. I know it. You should have seen him when Darkseid told him that Nightwing was dead. Instead of like just talking about it, why not actually show that? Why not actually show like that glimmer in there at least? But again, that might feed into that problem of like, oh, you don't need to tell us, it's building up. But in the case of this, it's like, was there ever any doubt that Batman would not come back?
No, that's what I'm saying. It's like that's not any surprise. You know, you're like, okay, M. Night, like I know you had that one on the back burner for a while, but chill out, bro. Like it's not taking anyone by surprise. Like
my final thing that I would want to talk about with regards to this is the quality of the animation in these movies throughout. I like the design work. There are sometimes some good images or iconic images that will pop on the screen. The action is probably like the most consistently well animated in these products, but still it's not as great compared to some other stuff. Like I just rewatched what was it? The Crisis on Two Earths one.
Mm-hmm.
And I was kind of blown away by like, wow, the animation for like not just fight scenes, but like walk cycles and, you know, just dialogue scenes is so much more fluid and slicker than anything they've done in any of these DCAU or DC animated universe movies.
Yeah, it's they definitely like decided on like this level of animation, and like they have not exceeded that in any of the new 52 style. I think Flashpoint was much better. I don't think
that was a completely different animation style too, and then it led to this. It was like, yeah,
right.
It was more anime. It looked more like anime than anything else.
For sure, yeah, and it was so good. But then you know, like Gotham by Gaslight was worse. Mm-hmm. There's been a couple that have just been like kind of garbage, like Saturday morning cartoon level animation. I feel like, and it was just like, wow, you know, like you guys they used to just kick so much ass, and it just sucks that they have not held to that standard of quality. Even in the animation, like I understand, like some stories, like, are, you know, not everyone's gonna like everything, but you can always tell a quality product when you see one. Mm-hmm. And these movies, I mean, they fall. They're an okay quality, but they're not great like they used to be, and sometimes they're garbage.
It kind of reminds me a little bit about Marvel's movie issues right now, because there's a lot of people out there, and I kind of see it a lot too upon rewatching some Marvel movies, is tonally, in terms of their color palette, in terms of the way they set up shots and things like that, it's very homogenized. Like, aside from maybe the Guardians movies, nothing really pops visually for me in a Marvel movie anymore. Aside from parts of the Guardians movies, parts of Doctor Strange, maybe a little bit of Captain Marvel, but yeah. But like Endgame, that final fight sequence, while it's cool to see so many characters all together, nothing I remember really pops for me visual wise up until I Am Iron Man snap.
Oh, not even girl power. Hey, you can fight over here.
Well, I mean, that's just the lineup of the characters. It's not like they do like a dynamic type of shot with them. It's just them walking.
Oh, dude, I just remember. I just remember like feeling so proud for females that that they had this moment. I was taken aback by it. Like, it was just so ridiculous. And then and even in that moment, like Doctor Strange, like you got like this is his time to do something crazy. Like, this is the end of everything, and he's like, no, I'm just gonna hold this water back. Like, don't.
Well, he's busy. But I mean, aside from that's more of a storytelling issue with regards to those particular shots. But I'm just saying, from like a visual standpoint, there's nothing that really leaps out at me in these Marvel movies, and that's what was reminding me a lot about when I'm watching some of these films, is like nothing really leaps out at me visually in these New 52 based films compared to like the Owlman Batman fight in Crisis on Two Earths. Like the slickness of that animation of those two characters like constantly like just nonstop fighting, or any of some of the Gotham Knight things that they did with, now granted they outsourced to Japan for the animation, but again, that's when they had maybe the moolah to be able to do that.
Right.
Or even some stuff in the Dark Knight Returns adaptation where they literally are able to fluidly show you a shot from the comic and it works like in motion.
Yeah, and when they take the time, like you can tell, and that's what I miss. There's a lot of iconic stuff, and again, it's all more fluid, and you can just tell that they had more money. And of course, they made less of these movies, but now like they're like, we're gonna pump out 15 movies, then like they're spending X amount of money over all the movies,
and then while they're pumping out this specific brand of movies, they're also pumping out other movies too, like the Gotham by Gaslight or Killing Joke or things like. During that time, they're also pumping out other projects. So I've always kind of wondered about that, being like, would the quality be a little bit better if they just maybe focused in on this string of movies for a certain amount of time and just those?
I would have appreciated that at least. I mean, at the very least, they would have had my like at least my good job, fellas. Like, at least you're trying over here.
It cracked me up that, the first flashback we get to what happened on Apokolips 2 years prior is Superman telling the story, right? And it's supposed, Green Lantern's about to die. He's getting swarmed by all these parademons, and it's being told in just a still. And it's just him surrounded by them being like, ah!
Yeah, he's still like, Nathan Fillion does not get any lines.
Like, you can't just why don't you give us a cool final Green Lantern action sequence, just because visually that would be striking. But nah, he's just there and he's just like, ah!
Yeah, you couldn't see him like bloodied and like, like give his last like, ah! No. Just getting eaten by some parademons. That's it.
And like I said, more often than not, it feels sort of like a Flash animation at times, because it clips every once in a while and you're just like, or there's very limited movement or very limited expression. Like they're just standing there,
Oh yeah, you can see the cost shaving.
Mm-hmm.
and that's, again, it's just like, that's even just a quality thing. And if you're gonna make a quality animation, if your story doesn't get there, at least, like as a consumer, at least I know, hey, at least they're making a quality movie that I can go back and watch some fight scenes, or I can go back and anything, and it's just like, I don't even want to.
Yeah.
Like there's no part of me like, but I will go back and watch like Return of Joker again. Like that's just a quality thing. And you know, it's a different style and it's a different yada yada.
But they poured their time into it.
Right, for sure. And it has, like, you know, it was well thought out and well done, and it's its own thing. And yeah, and you can say that about a bunch of the pre-Flashpoint DC animation.
Absolutely. And yeah, I feel that that's kind of thing is that I understand animation. It's a bitch to do. I get it. But that again, I was saying, like, if they want to maybe make a really good quality, consistent brand of these particular films, maybe don't get sidetracked with other projects and focus all your finances into making the best quality animation, or making sure, like, say, run cycles don't look janky or things like that.
Well, I mean, so it's like, this is what, the 14th movie in this whole
14th
deal?
or 15th, I can't.
Okay.
If you count maybe Death of Superman and Return as one movie, then
right. But if they had spent all of that time and money on 3 movies, like, you're gonna tell even if it's Damian Wayne centric, you're gonna tell the whole 15 movie Damian Wayne arc, you're gonna tell over 3 movies.
Mm-hmm.
Like, imagine what we would have had then. Like, that might have been worth it. That might have been worth it.
It's weird. And also the fact that they wanted to go full Endgame on this, but like full bittersweet Endgame on this, and just be like, do over. It's weird because, like you were saying, a lot of character arcs and a lot of plot points that you were kind of hoping would get a continuation in some of the better installments. Though, forget it. Like the Wonder Woman one, which came out just before this one, they set up Villainy Incorporated in the teaser of that movie, and like it's gonna be like, oh, you're gonna get Cheetah, you're gonna get Veronica Cale, you're gonna get a whole bunch of like Wonder Woman foes in the next one. Not with this one, you ain't. It's like, it's weird. But
no, just done. That's it.
They're just done. I don't know what they got. I mean, they're gonna keep going, obviously, and just maybe tell some more shared stories. Honestly, I don't see why they got to do the shared universe thing for these direct-to-video things. Just do the one-offs.
Yeah, I would again. This is your opportunity. You know, if Taika Waititi was doing animation, I would like try to get him to do one of these things. You know, it's like, have your things just be their own. You know, tell the stories. Like, that's what comic books is for. You don't read Green Lantern because you like Batman. You know, like, you want to see Green Lantern do Green Lantern things. You want to see Batman do Batman things. And the medium can be different. You know, like, if you go in a horror route or something like that with Batman, that makes more sense. If you're, you know, like, you want big colors and flashy things happening with Green Lantern, you don't want a subdued Gotham City in a Green Lantern comic book. So, like, do the things.
And honestly, I wouldn't mind if we strayed away from doing adaptations. Maybe just tell some original stories through. I mean, that's essentially what the Crisis on Two Earths was. I mean, it's based off of the concept of, you know, Earth 2 and the crime syndicate and all that stuff, but it was an original story written by the late, you know, Dwayne McDuffie. And it was originally intended as a story to be told through the original Justice League cartoon, through the Kevin Conroy and Susan Eisenberg Justice League cartoon, but, you know, they never were able to adapt it for that. So that's why when I watched that one, I'm like, I could see where this could work in that particular setup. And, you know, it's like a 3-part episode or something.
But even still, I mean, like, you know, again, they did a thing, and that was cool, and it, you know, it took its own space, and then that was that.
Yep.
And that's fine. I mean, I don't know, like, how well that did, like, as far as, like, you know, returns, but
I mean, I'm assuming because it's DTV, like, they do moderate success because, you know, we talked about this on the 3 Geeks last week. The idea of, like, it's media you can just watch in the comfort of your own home. You know, you just purchase it online or stream it, and you can just watch it there. I'm sure the returns are better. It always surprises me when they're like, we're going to do a Fathom events for this one, because I remember going to the Killing Joke one, and I'm like, this was not meant for the big screen. It doesn't look good on the big screen. Like,
and that's still half-assed. You know, like, not only did you half-ass this freaking movie because it should have just been a short, because it's only like a 60-page comic book.
Yeah,
but then you're gonna put it out on a medium that it is not even, like, it doesn't do it justice. It's not helping you to do this.
Like I said before, like, they had a featurette that showed clips from from Batman the animated series. I'm like, this stuff looks like it should belong on the big screen, because I remember watching Mask of the Phantasm in the theaters. I'm like, now this was actually designed for, a
Yeah,
big screen
it's
in a way.
supposed to be a movie. Like,
supposed to
it
be a
looks
movie.
weird on TV.
But then you transfer over to Killing Joke, where it's just like, I can see like the model lines of everything. It's weird.
Gotta stretch it.
Yeah, I can see the what they call it. I can see the vectoring of the character model. Like it looks really weird. And I was getting that from just watching Apokolips War on my laptop screen. I'm just like, oh, I can see all the little details of like the computer cell shading and stuff here. It's
right. Yeah. I'm just glad. Like maybe they've taken a different way from here on out. I did like Constantine. I did like their portrayal of him. Batman was all right.
I'm glad that guy has consistently gotten work since his TV series was canceled. Like,
yeah, he probably had one of the better actual like superhero TV shows that like all boomed out like around Arrow. But yeah, it's at least he's still out there, because he was a good Constantine, and he's a good voice for Constantine. Mm-hmm. So like that guy is A-okay in my book. But yeah, like I'm not really sad to see any of these guys go. Like I'm definitely happy to be not telling Damian Wayne stories anymore. I mean, this how many chatterangs are you gonna give this one?
Well, I mean, what our scale's been? Have we relegated to 5, or do we do 10? I can't remember now. It's been a while since
I don't know that the number is static.
Yeah, we've kind of. Well, like I said, on my letterbox, I've been at the most. Like I gave Justice League Dark, I think 3 out of 5. I think that's the highest I gave any of these movies on my letterboxed.
Mm-hmm.
This one, I think I fell to like 2.5 out of 5 chatterangs for me.
Okay. I didn't like this movie enough to give it 5 chatterangs.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna have to go out of 2 chatterangs. This gets a half of 1.
Okay.
So like a quarter of a chatterang. That's what I'm going with. A quarter chatterang out of 2.
So there you go, quarter chatterang out of 2. Yeah, that works.
I mean, like, I can't even make myself. It could never even hit 5 chatterangs to be out of, like, because I feel like the more you add on there, like that's the like more exclusive it gets. It's like out of 100 movies, this one has like So no, this is.
So I guess if I were to shift my scale to accommodate yours, mine would be like probably. A 1 chatterang out of 2, I guess, would be. I mean, here's the thing: if it's your cup of tea, it's your cup of tea. I know there is an audience for it, because I like in my tweets whenever I was looking up this hashtag just to see, like, after I watched it, I wanted to genuinely see what the fan reception was to this. People are loving it apparently, so it's like cool. If you've been loving these movies, fine. I won't take that away from you. I
honestly think the only thing people love is watching all the superheroes get ripped in half. Like they're just they don't even care.
There was a lot of that being like, there wasn't a lot of like, oh my gosh, it's so emotional. It was like, damn, this thing's metal. Like,
yeah, kill him again. Like,
I'm like, okay, that's a little unnerving, but okay.
I mean, like it's no. I honestly feel like because again, that's what it's for. That's why they did they went gory and they were dropping F-bombs all over the place, so that people could be like, yeah, like.
Now, if I may, and I'm curious about this too, because I don't think I've asked you about this series yet, but to kind of compare and contrast here, I have been watching Harley Quinn a lot. And I know you feel the character's oversaturated, and this is her own series and stuff like that. But here's the thing. That series has cussing, has toilet humor, has violence and gore. They kill off mainstays like Gotham villains and things like that in this series. And I care a lot more about what happens in that show, in this comedy, than I did of what happened in Apokolips War.
Like, absolutely. I agree with you. I think the Harley Quinn cartoon is hilarious. I really, really enjoyed it. It's very well done. And again, this is them doing their own thing. It's not meant to be a part of anything else. They're like, the cartoon is itself, and like the animation quality on that, I mean, isn't spectacular.
Yeah, but for a
I mean,
TV, for a sitcom, like it's like whatever.
right, it's solid, but they work to their strengths and they work within their world. And I really appreciate that. I dig the hell out of that cartoon, man.
It's fun. I've been following
like
weekly.
and that, like, to say that it's good, like you're saying, even in this Harley Quinn saturation where it's like there's a lot of bad Harley Quinn stuff out there, and this is not one of them. I would agree with you. Like I do enjoy it, and I think they're doing a great job, and I hope that they get all of the money and all of the time to do whatever they want, and then no pressure, because they put out a really funny, really good show, and like that one's coming out of 10 chatterangs. You know what I'm saying? Like that. Yeah, that's a really good show. I enjoy it a lot, despite all the other crap Harley Quinn that's out there.
Right. So there's the silver lining for this whole conversation. Apocalypse War, Harley Quinn, there you go. Yeah.
But yeah.
So I think that about does it. We gave our ratings. We talked about this thing and about this experiment they tried to bring a shared universe to the small screen. Okay.
Yeah, it's unfortunately the level of DC, it is what it has been for the past 7 to 10 years.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is like I don't want to say it's because we're getting older or anything like that, because I still, like I said, I just mentioned a couple of like animated films that I still enjoy to this day. I still enjoy the animated series. I'm enjoying Harley Quinn. I don't think it has anything to do with us aging out of the material at all. It just has to do more with like
bad is bad.
Bad is bad, and inconsistent. So
yeah.
That's all I got really to say about that at this point. Yeah.
Yep, that's it.
So I hope this was entertaining for you all to see us talking about ho-hum stuff, but this has been To the Chat Cave here on McGTV. And again, follow me here or on Twitter at MikeMcGTV. Follow Max over at 3geeks.ninja or at 3geeks podcast. And buy our stuff, please, off of TeePublic. We can
for sure.
We'll have to figure out, because I want to do this again, but we have to figure out another topic here, and we'll talk about that here at the end. But final question: is there a direction you'd want to see them go? A particular avenue of DC lore that you think direct-to-video would thrive on?
I would like to see Alan Moore's Swamp Thing, like a direct Alan Moore Swamp Thing adaptation movie.
Okay.
That would be pretty cool. And I would like to see, again, if they were going to do it justice, not if they're going to hack it up and do what they've been doing.
Yeah.
But I think Swamp Thing would be really cool. They touch on him in the Justice League Dark movies. He always gets like a scene, but he never gets like a real like.
He's like Hulk.
Get a good chunk of Swamp Thing.
Yeah, he's like their Hulk essentially. I'll show up for a little bit and then.
Yeah, smash some stuff, break out. But so I think that would be pretty cool.
That would be from the writer and whoever the artist was, because I can tell you right out of the gate, Alan Moore will be like, "Do what you want. I don't care. I'm worshiping my snake."
Yeah, Alan Moore hates everything that they do with his stuff. So yeah, like you're definitely you're not getting him on for the adaptation. I if you could, like put it out there, like, hey man, like if you want to do the thing, you can do the thing. But yeah, I seriously doubt that.
Two thoughts would run through my mind if they were able to nail down Alan Moore for adapting his stuff for a direct-to-video, being like, oh my God, their pitch must be incredible, or oh my God, does he need money?
Right.
One of two things.
Like Corona hit everybody.
Yeah, exactly. It's like he must be suffering so bad.
Yeah, but I think that would be pretty cool. I'd like to see that. They haven't done that. Or Detective Chimp.
Yes, please. Yes, Detective Chimp. Oh my God. Let's have fun. Let's have fun.
I'm down.
Man.
There's a lot of like DC weird like B villains and heroes that are just so interesting and weird. I'm down for a little more of that. I kind of like them to play in their sandbox a little bit. Like, if they're gonna borrow from the Avengers, do the thing where like you're gonna take a bunch of heroes that nobody has ever actually heard of and make it work. Like make people like them, make us interested in them. I'm down for that.
Mm-hmm.
Ragman.
I would probably. Oh yeah, Ragman. Ragman's awesome. And you're bringing up so many like lost IP.
Yeah, they're just odd. They're weird characters.
Oh my gosh! And you know what? Ragman would be like a cool kind of exploration, a little bit of some cultural stuff, because he's based in sort of Jewish and Hebrew like folklore to some extent. So like that would be kind of a really cool way to go if they did that without stereotyping it or anything like that. That'd be kind of
right.
I would go the route of like, their crossover stuff. Like I dug Batman versus Ninja Turtles. Yeah, the animation sure wasn't theater grade quality animation, but it was still fun. It knew when to be action packed, when to be serious, when to be lighthearted.
And there's another example of something that was just meant for its own sake. Yep. And they did a thing, and they're like, here it is, and I appreciated the crap out of it. I agree with you. Yeah, like let's see some more of that stuff. Again, if they're gonna do it right, if they're gonna give it, I would argue that they did not give Batman meets the Ninja Turtles enough. So I say do a thing, make tell a story. And have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And it doesn't need to go over 15 movies. It doesn't need to go just tell one good story and do one good thing.
Hone in on it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it doesn't need to be a franchise. It can just be a one-off. Like Justice League has met the Power Rangers. They've met the Avengers. Like you could feasibly do an animated JLA Avengers thing if DC and Marvel were able to get along. But eventually, DC's going to get bought by Disney at some point, so
right.
that'll become more of a reality.
And one would argue that it would be better to do it over animation than it would to do in live action, because
absolutely,
it's going to be anything is believable in a cartoon. Like you just got to set the world up, and that's a much easier medium, even though the doing animation is actually not as easy. But like if they would just commit to a thing that they're not trying to milk every dollar out of you for, it's like, hey, like we want to tell this story and we want it to be done well. That would be awesome. But like it's just everything feels like a cash grab to me. Yeah.
Well, hence why we don't trust the corporations, because Max, we live in a society. So I don't know.
There was man.
So this was To the Chat Cave. Thanks so much for doing this, man.
No, thank you. Call me up anytime.
Absolutely. This is going to be a fun format to try out here and there as we venture on into our own personal version of Batman Contagion. We need Azrael to run the barricade and get us the plague cure. That's what we need.
Yes.
I remember reading that. He's like riding on top of a car, like jumps a military barricade on a bridge in order to get into Gotham. I'm like, you have, at this point in the comics, like you have fax and email, dude. You can just send the formula. And they address it in the comic too. Like Tim Drake's like, he's a little medieval. His buddies sent the formula to like the hospital via email. So it's like,
nah, dude, I gotta ride on top of this car. They're like, just send the fax, it'll be quicker. Like, no, I'm going to ride on top of the car. Ride in the car. You can wear your seatbelt. It'll be safe. No.
I'm going medieval.
Because they had cars in medieval times.
There you go. Yeah. Just think of it as a big, flatter horse.
They're much easier to ride on top of than the conveyances of my period.
All right. That's it for To the Chat Cave, everybody. Have a good day.
We'll see you. Same chat time, same chat channel, Mike McGTV.